and we decided to go for language teaching with iPad and iPad apps. In fact, as you have mentioned, it's not sufficient to introduce a new way of learning, a new tool inside the classroom. You have to use it properly. And from a teacher point of view and from a student's point of view, it changes a lot of things. So I'm just trying to briefly and very quickly show you the apps we all began to use when we used iPods first and then iPads, and to, let's say, give you a hint of what it could mean for students or teachers. So let's try to link to Apple TV. I'm not sure it will work because I'm on iPad 1, so I hope it will.
iPad 1? It will only allow you to present a keynote.
A keynote, that's the point, in fact, so let's hope it will work. Okay. Should connect, but seems not to. Okay, anyway, we'll do it the old-fashioned way by presenting a few slides on the iPad, and we'll show you the iPad so that we can get some lunch soon. So forget about the movies on the board and just take a look at that if you can. So I'm so sorry for that. But here is the title was iPad or Learning Language 2.0. In fact, it's all about turning students into producers, into participating people in the classroom. Right? So the language apps we all know is that we could use grammar apps, we could use vocabulary apps, like those for me teaching from the French to the English as a secondary language. Learning the verbs is also a problem, but that's the usual way of teaching, right? It's just another tool, but the important thing is if you're using iPods, as I was at the beginning, the tool gets in your pocket, right? And everywhere you can use it whenever you want, whenever you need it. Right? With iPad, you get more comfort. It's more comfortable, sorry. But in a different way, it's less portable, so less practical, perhaps, for students as well. On the student's point of view, you can do different things with specific apps like vocabulary or grammar, or you can go for a totally different app like Big Oven, for example, which is presenting the way of cooking things. And you've got a lot of vocabulary inside. It's not an app that is supposed to be used for teaching English, but in fact, you can learn a lot from different apps which are not meant for teaching language, right? So another way is using games. In that sort of thing, you can enter into a competition, right? Your students compete with each other, which is not often the case in a standard language class. So that's also possible with exercises for grammar and vocabulary, as I meant. In a few minutes, you will have the rest of the presentation by my colleagues who will give you a hint at, for example, Subtopic, which is an application where children, or is it It's YouTube.
I tried to assist.
Thank you. Help was welcome. So SoftPuppet is an application that turns students into cartoon producers, right? So that's a different thing. It's a different approach as well. So literature apps, we'll know them. We talked about iBooks a little bit earlier. We have applications like classic novels, which are in the public domain. You can use it to read, of course. You have specific apps like Shakespeare, like Edgar Allan Poe, things like that. So all those could be used to teach literature inside the classroom with the new tool. And everything that we've mentioned, of course. Dictionary access, access to the internet to get more info, etc., etc. So iPhoto and photo apps, it was also mentioned when you have an iPod, an iPod Touch, and the camera, you can snap photos everywhere you go. And then you bring it to the classroom and you are explaining things to other students. Right? That's a way of dealing with it. Another way of dealing with it is to prepare something on iPhoto for the teacher this time and to send a slideshow to the students on the subject, and as a way of sharing things and as a way of talking when you come back to class with a group of students. So London, Anglo-Saxon countries, for example. Movie apps as well. Turning students into movie producers. With iMovie you can do that. It's a very efficient way of sharing things. Think that you can share that on YouTube, for example. You can have that everywhere when you have produced a film. So that's very incentive for students as well to share their work. So you can have YouTube films, of course, you can have Dailymotion and etc. and so forth, but you have iMovie on the iPad, and that's a great tool for producing things for students. We will show you that in a few seconds. So sound apps, of course, you have a recording device inside the iPod or the iPad, so use it to record your students' voices. You can build groups and have discussions that is recorded. Then you can send the discussion to the students and the teachers. Right? So that's a very efficient way of dealing with it. Of course, the songs, as another group mentioned as well. You can use lyrics. So find the lyrics of the song. Do an exercise gap with that lyric. Listen to the song. Just try to make students participate in your tastes, let's say, about music. Sharing the idea of different tastes in music and different abilities to speak English, for example. So that's another way of dealing with it. Of course, the podcast we mentioned, for example, iTunes U, but all sorts of podcasts outside iTunes U are very interesting as well. And you get also video podcasts. And you can create them, by the way. If you use iMovie and GarageBand, it's very easy to create a podcast. Then utility apps, what we call in French rappel, to do things, right? Break out if you're not missing something, if you're a student or a teacher. Notes, that comes right away with your iPad, nothing to buy. It's already in there. You can have topics for class discussion, for example. Try reflecting for something on something for next time. And then social apps. I talked about language teaching 2.0. a very efficient and simple way of sharing things between students and teachers is Facebook. As long as you are aware of the dangers of that, of course. So if you are aware of that, it's a great way to share ideas, photos, class topics, etc. Very efficient way of dealing with that. After that, we've got all the Google world, right? Google Apps and Google Mail. Not everybody get a me.com mail address, right? But a google.com address is very easy to get. So you can use that at that time. I use that on my iPods, for example, to share things again by mail with my students and students to students. And then Google Earth, of course. And the last part will be news and cultural apps. Once again, apps that are not really meant to be apps used in the language teaching class. But the TED application is one of my favorites. TED application gives you access to the TED conferences. I don't know if you know those. But it's a great tool to listen to, great thinking and great presentations. And now it's even better because you have got the subtitles for those. And of course it's in English. So you can use that with the subtitles and with your students, enhancing your presentations in class. BBC News, great tool to use as well for the classroom. I won't mention why, because I think it's evident. So Internet and Safari, you can build websites on your iPads with your students. We mentioned wikis. That's a great way of sharing things as well. Very easy to use. And of course, plenty of other things with Twitter and things like that. Okay, I was already too long, so I'll hand over with the big screen.
Okay, when I was a school kid, I was a pain in the neck, and I kept asking stupid questions, which drove my teachers wild. So one of these strange questions was, isn't it strange that we, sitting in the English classroom, are learning exactly the same words? It's okay when you think about it in terms of one room. Okay, 2 rooms, 3 rooms. Now can you imagine 1 million students sitting in the classroom, learning exactly the same expressions and the same words? Quite a weird feeling immediately comes, right? And is it possible to change this situation somehow so that the language comes from the students? Because when we speak in our native language, we speak differently. Each of us uses sort of